Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Thursday edition of Benzinga's PreMarket Prep. Spencer Israel here with Joel Elconin. Dennis Dick is here with us for now. He'll be with us for the first part of the show, and then he may have to leave. Reason being, he heard about Beyond Meat coming to McDonald's in Canada, and he wants to get online early. So he's going to leave us. He'll be on the show for at least the first 15 minutes. Then we're going to be joined by our guest, and then he may dip out to go to McDonald's. He may stay. We're not really sure. But in any case, Beyond Meat, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about this big banking deal that Cannabis got yesterday from the House. Big news on that front. Shopify had a nice reversal yesterday. We talk about that. Match.com, or not Match.com. Yeah, Match.com and Facebook both with federal investigations against them. Talk about that as well. Our guest, as I mentioned, Tim Melvin. He is a Marketfy Maven, the author of Banking on Profit, a community bank expert, will join us at 8:15. In the meantime, Joel, tell us what is happening here overnight.
I am not going to talk about anything. I'm going to bring in Dennis. Are you through that 8 o'clock open? I'm bringing you in immediately. And
coming in immediately. I'm a mess. I haven't shaven. This is what it looks like when you're on the IR. I've been on the pre-market info or pre-market prep IR here for the last couple days.
Is it your back, your shoulder?
It's my shoulder. So I got a pinched nerve in my shoulder, and it's a good one. And I can it just can't really raise your arm too much. So it's like my clicking arm too. If it was my left, you'd be all set, but it's my right. So it actually hurts to click the mouse too. So there's not much they can do for those. I've been heating it, icing it, going to the chiropractor, and he's trying to loosen it up. But it's a good one. So that's why I've been off the last couple of days. It just kind of hurts to sit. I walk around, I heat it, and it makes it feel better. But so I don't think I'm dying here. Just this shoulder injury, though. This little pinched nerve. They can range. Like, I've researched it, and this one's just a really good one. So it's been about 4 days now, or 3 days, because have I been on the show? Did I come on Monday?
You've never missed. This is the first time you would
losing track of days this week.
Yep.
So yeah. So anyway, so that's my injury. It's been a little bad run, a little health here, little funny things with the throat infection, and now a pinched nerve in my shoulder, but don't even know how I did it. I guess these things just happen.
All right, let's go to the news of the day, the news of the week, and the news of the year.
The PLT?
Yes.
Is that what you're referring to?
Of course.
The plant, lettuce, tomato, McDonald's.
Is that what they're going to call it?
That is what they're calling it. It's a 12-week test of a new plant-based burger based on Beyond Meat patties at McDonald's, specifically at McDonald's in southwestern Ontario. Dennis, we were debating earlier on the news desk. Where is southwestern Ontario? Is that by you?
That's us. Yeah.
That's us?
Yeah, that's us. So that'll be around the corner from me. Southwestern Ontario is the bulk of your population in Canada. I think it's something like half of the population of Canada lives in Southwestern Ontario / it's not considered Toronto. So, but maybe they do. Maybe they do consider that Southwestern Ontario too. So it's almost up to Toronto.
It's you, and it's not like Thunder Bay area.
Exactly. You're not getting that far north. But almost half the population is like around of all of Canada. You think about that. Almost half the population is like Toronto / Southwestern Ontario.
This is the best news I've heard all week. So September 30th is when it's the pilot program starts. We're gonna go. We're gonna go, and we're
on a road trip.
We're gonna
try the burger.
We're going to try this.
Well, this is important information, because if it sucks, it's a selling opportunity.
That's exactly what I said.
That's all that matters. I mean, Tim Hortons tried it, and they pulled it from most of the restaurants.
Exactly
so if this does not catch on, this is what we talked about this, Joel. We talked about this when Beyond Meat was hot, and we were saying if they ever get a contract like McDonald's, the thing's going to blast off. Okay, so it does. The question is it too little, too late, though, and does it stick? I mean, you're seeing 25-point rise. Is this the selling opportunity is what I'm questioning. If you've been in this for a while and you're like, all of a sudden it's a gift from the trading gods here, up 19% this morning, because Southwestern Ontario is going to try. the Beyond Meat burger. I mean, McDonald's is huge. It catches on and goes across nation, and obviously goes into the U.S. as well. Then maybe you got a chance. But they're not trying this in the U.S. anywhere.
Not yet, but
Just southwestern Ontario.
Yes, but here's a question for you: how long do you think that they knew that they knew they had this deal, right? Do you think they knew about this and they were waiting for the Tim Hortons stuff to die down?
No, I don't think so. I think they're probably just excited. They finally, they've probably been trying to work this deal for a while. Probably. I mean, this is as good as it gets. I mean, the McDonald's is as good as it gets. It couldn't get a better deal than that. So I'm not surprised up 25 points. I think they're just excited that the stock is up here because it's been going down. It's looking like it's breaking down. It's been looking, and I've said, I'm still going to say, I think it's under $100. I said a year from now, which is like going back 2 months ago. So I have 10 months to get to there. I still think it's going under $100 in the next 10 months. I think this is a selling opportunity because you know what? I don't think it's going to catch on. It didn't catch on Tim Hortons. I've tried the A&W Beyond Meat Burger, which they do have. I don't know if they have that in the US, but they have it in southwestern Ontario here at Beyond Meat. It's more expensive and it's not nearly as good. So I honestly don't think it catches on. So I think this is a good opportunity. If you get a headline 2 months from now and they pull it, this will be down 30 points. So it's a good question. We should go on the road trip and try it. Maybe it's going to be awesome. Maybe we're like, yeah, this is better than McDonald's burgers. And then how much is it is the question too. Is it going to be more money?
Oh, I know how much it is.
That, Dennis.
So how much? It's $6.49 Canadian, which makes it $4
for a burger.
It's not just any burger. What don't you understand about this?
How much is this going to be?
The PLT we're talking about. It's $6.49 Canadian, which makes it $4.90 US.
Yeah, but all that matters is Canada. I've never seen a $6.50 hamburger at McDonald's.
They're all
like under $5.
Now you have.
I think it's doomed. In my opinion, I think it's doomed. If I was long Beyond Meat, I would be saying thank you very much and hitting the sell button. That's what I would be doing here this morning.
We do not have investment advice.
No, we don't. But that's why I'm saying you can always give a personal opinion. If I own Beyond Meat, I'd be selling it into this. That's my opinion. We don't ever give investment advice, so we can't tell you what to do with your shares. I'll tell you what I would be doing with my shares. I do not own Beyond Meat. I probably can't get a locate on it, so I probably can't short it either. But I think this is a gift from the trading gods, and I personally do not think it's going to catch on.
Well, what about if you got jammed at 150 with the offering, right? And it vacillated. You're like, I'm just going to be patient with this, right? I got the stock at 150.
160.
160?
160.
Oh, look at that. And you take all that heat. I'm not, who knows who got what shares and what they did with them, if they wrote options or whatever. But if you got jammed at 160 on this thing, and you're looking at this and you can make $2.83 right now.
And this is, to be clear, this is the secondary. This is not the initial.
Right. I noted here, when we started talking about Beyond Meat, it was at 163.80. So that's my level. That's my key level from now looking forward. I'll give you all the pre-market high. The pre-market high just made that at 167.50. I don't know. You could figure in 50% retracements of the entire move. That's even much higher. What we went from 235. This is going to be some tough math here. Was it a 100-point break? Yeah, let's call it 185. I'll tell you right now, if it gets to 185 if it ever gets to 185, then I'm laying out the shorts, man. That I'll just say I
don't think you're getting there. You have so much overhead supply here. For people who are, were in the hope trade that eventually this thing was going to come back. This is awesome news. There's no doubt. And maybe this holds it up and maybe it runs for a couple days or something. I don't know the path. I just think when the dust settles here, that the test is going to fail and the stock is going to lose this 28 points in one day when that test fails because it failed at Tim Hortons. So, and now you're telling me it's $6.50. You're telling me it's going to probably be $2 more than any other burger on the menu. That's scary. I mean, people like the idea, if it tastes good, of eating, a plant-based burger and, saving the animals. But, and I kind of like that idea as well. But it's all about taste at McDonald's to a certain extent, too. And the question, too, is this burger actually healthy? Like, and I don't know if anybody's ever, researched this. It's a plant-based burger, so you automatically think it's healthier, but I'm sure they got a lot of chemicals and stuff.
Yeah, it's very high in sodium, but that's not the point.
Luke.
That's not the point. It's not about... It's not about being healthy. It's
What's
about
Luke's? Luke, we got Luke
I don't
Jacoby
know.
coming over here.
Well,
Look at him flying in the background. He's got the inside scoop
he's our
on
McDonald's
this Beyond Meat
not over
burger.
here. All right, Luke, have you heard the news this morning that McDonald's is testing a Beyond Meat patty in Canada?
Well,
Do you have a reaction to that?
the Canadian McDonald's is, you can't call it McDonald's. That's what I would say.
Okay, stop. Why?
This is like an American icon. They're trying to, take it. Other countries take our McDonald's. And,
It's like in America. You want McDonald's? You're like Trump. You're just McDonald's is for Americans.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So listen though, Luke, it starts on Monday,
Okay.
and it's in Windsor.
Oh, all right.
That's what I'm saying.
So we're going.
We're going.
All right.
The road trip to Ben. So we'll hold our opinions. We may go over. Maybe we all go over there. I'll meet you guys for this road trip. Maybe we all go over there. We could even tape it and say, this is the big test. We'll do the YouTube video. This is the big test. And we'll all try the Beyond Meat burger. And if it sucks, we're going to come out and short the stock. If it's awesome, I'm probably still not going to buy the stock. But
All right. Yeah, we're going to film the show there. Joel's going to skip the Jewish holiday to come out.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Spencer's going to make the call to Lisa, so Joel doesn't have to tell her.
Yeah. No, I was going to mention that actually by complete coincidence, we may not have a show Monday because it is a Jewish holiday. Joel and I are both taking off on Monday.
Who's going to run the show? I'll be here. I'll be healthy by Monday.
TBD on that. It's just a coincidence that this starts on Monday. So I'm not saying we're going to be in Temple. We may be at McDonald's, but we'll see. But Luke, we want to get your reaction because we know you like McDonald's a lot. So
thank you guys for thinking of me.
Okay, appreciate it. All right, Joel, come back.
All right, take care, guys.
All right. So I feel like that's enough Beyond Meat talk for one day.
Why did they try it in why did they try in Southwestern Ontario? Why did they not try it in the States? That's just my question. Like, why didn't they try
That's a good point.
California? Why didn't they try? Could they not get that deal?
You guys are nicer, and you're going to give it more time.
Is that what it is?
You're going to give it a second and third chance.
You know why? I know exactly the reason why.
Why?
Because weed is legal over there everywhere, and all the vegetarians are smoking weed, and then they're going to go to get a Beyond Meat.
This is a good segue into the pot news from last night. So we'll take the segue, Joel. Thank you for that. I don't really know the reason for why you were saying that, but we'll take the segue here. So bring us to the news from last night that has every pot stock ripping this morning.
Well, we'll get to it quickly because I want to go to our guest here in a minute.
You want to delay them?
But the Safe Banking Act, which has been in the works now for a while, this act allows financial institutions to work with companies that sell marijuana, right? And right now they are allowed. These companies are not allowed to be a part of the banking infrastructure in the U.S. They have to deal in cash. Now, according to the House of Representatives, they will be allowed to. It's the Secure and Fair Enforcement Banking Act, or SAFE Banking Act. It is expected to go into law either at the end of this year or sometime next year. So it's not actually a law yet. It hasn't been signed, but this is a big deal for the cannabis sector because it allows these companies to actually be a part of the banking system. Big deal.
Does Greg cover any of these pot stocks? Can we bring him in on the live on this conversation?
No.
Okay. So quickly, just CGC up 3.5%, Kronos up 4% on this, ACB, Aurora Cannabis, which has been in the gutter, is up 4% on this, APHA up 4.7%. You're seeing the majority of your pot stocks trade up significantly on this, 3, 4, 5%. So this is the news. This is the catalyst. Question is this another selling opportunity? I tend to think so, just because they've been in the gutter.
So here's what I want to do. Our guest is Tim Melvin. He covers.
Tim Melvin. Sorry, Greg's later.
He covers community banks. Okay.
Yeah, we know Tim.
So he can maybe talk to us about whether this is how this could play out from that point of view. So I do want to take a break. We'll grab Tim Melvin. We'll talk about banks. We'll talk about this, and we'll come back. So we'll be right back.
Hey, Dennis, go ice your shoulder. Then,
I'll come back. I'll be back at you guys in 5.
All right.
Okay.
We're going on break. All right, welcome back, everyone. Pre-market prep. Spencer Israel, Joel Elconin, Dennis Dick, joined now by Tim Melvin, Marketfy, Maven, author of Banking on Profit. Tim, good morning. First of all,
oh, it's going fantastic down here. Since we talked to you guys last, we moved all the way just about as far south in Southwest Florida as you can get, and we are just loving life.
All right, you said you are all over the Safe Banking Act here. I think I did an okay job a minute ago of explaining how it works, but tell us what you know about it.
Well, I mean, basically, this is going to make it possible for banks to do business with cannabis-related companies and enterprises. And this is critically important, okay? Lots of states have passed legislation allowing the medical and even recreational use of cannabis. But right now, banks can't take that money because cannabis is still technically illegal under the federal laws, although I think leading into the election, we'll see a lot more discussion about that. The passage of that is going to put a lot of cash back into some local banks. There are select banks that have found ways. Severn Savings in Annapolis, a bank we've talked about a lot, one of my favorite banks, SVBI. They've been doing business very carefully and cautiously with cannabis companies in Maryland for some time. But, you go to some of these dispensaries in Oregon, California, or even here in Florida, they've got armed guards because it's all cash.
So that brings me to my next question then. Is this more of a boon for the big banks or for smaller local banks?
You know what? I think this goes smaller local banks. Okay, I think these guys are really going to appreciate the fact that the community banks, they have been reaching out and talking to these guys and discussing different ways to do things. They've been building relationships in the community with the growers, the dispensary owners. I know a couple of dispensary owners, and they all have kind of a tilt towards, we don't really want to do business with the bigger banks. We're going to need some one-on-one because it is very high cash flow business. It's a business that, frankly, the big banks aren't going to understand, so they're not going to be in a position to make loans to them. So I think, if you could find a community bank in an area where cannabis is legal that has relationships with some of these dispensaries and growers and other providers to the industry, I think you're going to see that turn into a growth bank.
Well, I guess, how do you know that? How do you know who has a relationship?
You talk to the bankers. Remember, we're not talking Jamie Dimon here. You call them up.
That's true. That's true. Small local bank, not Jamie Dimon. Maybe a little more accessible. So it's not a law yet. It might go into effect later this year, possibly even next year. But how big a boon of this is this exactly?
You're talking billions of dollars of deposits immediately. You're talking, C&I loans that are going to be taken out. And looking further down the road, you're even talking commercial real estate loans for buying buildings and buying farms and grow rooms. So, look, it's a done deal. It's just a matter of Congress and the president getting this right. Legal cannabis is going to spread across the country, if for no other reason than the states want the tax revenue.
Right.
And this is going to be hundreds of billions of dollars business. And I also think, and I'm not going to name names because they're small, but buying community banks in places like California and Tennessee and Kentucky that are prime growing markets, that's going to be pretty smart too.
Question from our chat from JV Spec. Can you use credit cards at dispensaries? No, you can't. This is part of the
There is one chain of dispensaries here in Florida that has a relationship with a non-bank credit card processor, but I think they charge you 5% to use your card.
Yeah. So this is going to make all that legal now, right? Because it's still illegal federally, but this act gives banks the workaround to work with these dispensaries. So as Tim was saying, they all need it, right? They all need access to the U.S. banking system.
Yes, and as I said, the legislation's a done deal in the House. Okay, it's going to pass. Right now, are the senators going to play partisan, or are they going to do the right thing? I'm still optimistic enough to think they'll do the right thing.
Okay.
In spite of a complete lack of evidence otherwise.
Right. Well, we're still, like I said, not a done deal yet, but done in the House. Tim, have you been following what's going on here in the repo market?
Yeah, there's not much that keeps me up at night. That does.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the first time we've put money into the banking system since 2009, and I've heard all of the explanations. Okay,
Do you buy it?
it was the big, no, not at all. It was the big bond settlements. It was the fact that taxes had to be paid. Guess what? We've been settling large government bond issues, and taxes have been getting paid since 2009. My son-in-law is an economist, and he, the first time they put the money in, he called me in a panic. About the fifth time, I think he went down and got his medical marijuana card. Something doesn't add up, okay? And economists are split on it. I've talked to a lot of them that say, hey, this could be a serious problem. And others are like, yeah, well, they told us it was technical. We believe them. If the Federal Reserve loses control of short-term interest rates, we have a serious systemic problem. So we're watching this very closely.
And you, of course, are following this from the point of view of a community bank investor. How exposed are those banks to this issue?
Not very, because they are all incredibly well capitalized at this point in time. So it's the bigger banks and more leveraged banks that might be exposed to it. More importantly, as I said, if we lose control of short-term interest rates, I mean, when we had a spike into double digits that first night on some paper rolling over, nobody is prepared for a short-term spike in interest rates. Okay, because lower for longer, lower possibly forever is baked in. You've got sub 2% on the 10-year. There is nothing in this system that could handle an interest rate shock right now.
So if you're not buying the explanations, it wasn't a tax payment. What could it be?
That's a great question, and that is one that we're trying to figure out. And I don't have a solid answer, but I don't think the technical issues explain all of it.
Okay. On a lighter note, Tim, you're going to be speaking later this morning, actually in about a half hour, at the OTC, the OTCQX Community Bank Conference at 9 a.m. Can you give us a little snippet of what you're going to be discussing?
Sure. I mean, we're just going to talk about the picture for community banks hasn't really changed in years since we started doing this. Consolidation is a fact of life. Okay, we have too many banks. When the interstate banking laws passed under Reagan back in the 80s, we had 18,000 banks. We still have almost 6. You compare that to Canada that has like a dozen, or France that has 6 or 7. We don't need this many banks. And smaller banks are also incredibly inefficient. They just don't have the size and the scale to compete with the larger banks. Now, we've added in the last couple of years. For a long time, it was just regulatory costs, really putting pressure on these banks. But now it's technology costs. I was talking to a guy who CEO of like a 3-branch bank in upstate New York. He's averaging 10,000 cyber attacks per day. So your customers are coming to you and saying, look, I got to have mobile. I've got to be able to deposit from my phone. I don't want to come into the branch. You got to have the new technology, or I'm moving my account. And okay, that's expensive enough. Now I've got to come back on top of that and layer in cybersecurity. And guess what? That's not a one-time cost, right? Because the crooks get smarter. So you've got technology costs, and now you've got what I think might be a nail in the coffin and really accelerate small bank M&A. If we do, in fact, stay lower for longer, and I'm completely wrong about the technical issues in the reserve market, which is possible, we stay lower for longer, net interest margins continue to be pressured. So now you've got another source of pressure on the bottom line. And at some point, these guys throw their arms up in the air and say, to hell with this, I'm selling the bank. This isn't fun. So you've got just this great consolidation trend. It's going to happen. It's going to keep happening. And then at the same time, the community banking system has done a fabulous job since the credit crisis of building equity. They've gotten to be much smarter at underwriting loans. And so far, the memories of the credit crisis are still fresh enough that none of them are doing anything stupid to gain 50 basis points. So if you buy these things at the right price, you're actually entering into a very low-risk situation because these are very well-capitalized banks. They don't have many bad loans. They're doing a very smart job of underwriting. And the bank probably, they have to grow or sell. There is no in between. So if they grow, well, that's going to make my stock price go higher. And if they sell, well, I'm going to get an immediate premium to my stock price. So it's kind of a win-win.
Question from our chat here with regards, if I can go back for a moment, with regards to the repo market. Do you believe the Fed is losing control of rates such that a spike in rates is possible? Or are you just saying a spike is surprising?
I'm going to put a spike. I'm going to call it something of a black swan. No, clearly they struggled to regain control that first night, but they did. And by pumping money in for the past week, they've got it kind of damped down. We have not seen any spikes in the overnight market, but I wouldn't say it's impossible.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll even give you, a free trade. What we did is we went out and we truly black swanned it, Caleb style. We went out and bought way out of the money TLT puts in 2021. So if if it doesn't happen, it was a couple $100. If it does happen, I make many thousands.
All right. Tim Melvin, as I mentioned, is a Marketfy Maven. He's the author of Banking on Profit and the Community Banking Newsletter. He'll be speaking later today at 9 a.m. at the OTCQX Community Bank Conference. That's at virtualinvestorconferences.com. I'll also throw a link in our chats. It's followed by some investor presentations by some community banks. Tim is our community bank guru. It's a great day to have you on between the Safe Banking Act and the repo market. Anything else we need to know about this sector?
No, just that, it sounds boring and day to day it is boring, but I will tell you that I have never sold a community bank for a loss. And I've been doing this 30 years.
All right. Tim Melvin, appreciate your time today. Have a good one. And I'll listen to you after our show, but have a good one, Tim, and good luck out there.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. 8:28 here. Joel, anything happening in this market while we were chatting with Tim, or has it been quiet up?
Beyond Meat's backed off a couple dollars when we started the show. 163.80, last print 161.51. Pre-market high. I'd hazard to guess that would be a great target if you're long. We'll give you that pre-market high. We did get a spike up to 167.50. So keep an eye on that. It's that good $6 away. I guess I could go over the S&Ps, dude. We are there. There is a market there. Strong day yesterday. Little news about China on, China off deal. That rallied us midday. Brentster, you got something for us?
Oh, we got GDP.
GDP
yeah, we got GDP
yep,
in a
yep,
minute.
GDP in a minute.
Who even has time to remember about GDP and macro stuff?
Yep. But we had a little weakness. Sold off to 78.50. That's your daily pivot. Daily pivot's just below that. I'm going to be looking at mid-range now because mid-range matches the close from yesterday at 86.75. So that's if we go into retreat, that's the first area of support. Going back on the upside, nothing here. Pre-market high 29.95. Nothing. We were Tuesday's
GDP in line. GDP in line.
GDP in
2%.
line.
Yep.
Okay. No big deal there. Crude. Now you talk about people looking at a number and anticipating a gap fill. Well, you need to go to 55.44 yesterday to fill the gap from the Aramco event, and you went to 55.55. So that's still good area of support. Gold in the red by 230. No one really cares. Silver in the red by 22.3 cents to 17.85. And Bitcoin, the futures are up $50, 84.55. Just not a lot of enthusiasm here in that market.
So we talked about the Safe Banking Act from the point of view of the banks, but let's look at
pot stocks.
Yeah, so let's talk some pot stocks now. So they're all up as you'd expect. Afria, I saw Kronos, Canopy, all higher on this headline.
Pulling off the highs, though, some of them. So, I mean, you got a little bit of a squeeze if people are short these things this morning. Yes, it's good news, but these stocks are all in serious downtrends here, and I think they get met with more supply. What that means is I sell the rip.
Yep. I mean, Tim, though, he thought this was a little bit of a positive.
It's a positive. I mean, it's priced in. They're all at 4 or 5%.
Yeah.
Okay. Definitely a positive, but it's the same thing. Spinner and I keep saying, everybody, and Spinner says in the chat, I say it too. Stocks that are in downtrends, serious long-term downtrends, when they get the pops, they're usually selling opportunities. Stocks that are in serious uptrends, when they get the drops, they're usually buying opportunities. I mean, if you learn anything in this market, the way this market's been for the last 5 years, that has been really the pattern. So, I mean, it doesn't always apply. Trends do change. Stocks don't go up to it forever. I mean, Roku, once you underline, you're breaking trend, that's a different story. But this trend, like on CGC, still very intact. You can just take your Jeff Mackey purple crayon, draw a line, connecting. And if we, knew how to do the charts better here, we'd be able to do that. But, go from $50 where we were 5 months ago, or not even 4.5 months ago back in April, draw a line all the way down that. Hard to get interested as long as it's trading below that line. It means the bears are in charge, and it means rallies are to be sold. Starts getting above that line that you draw, then it gets interesting again. I mean, that's just basic technical analysis.
And also, you have to consider is this did not come out of thin air. This has been on the radar of the industry for a year or
there
more.
You go.
Right.
So maybe expected.
Right.
Somewhat.
So I went to the our cannabis conference down in Miami in January. They were talking about this. So you don't know how much of this was already priced in because people have been awaiting this decision for months.
There's probably a lot of people sitting here hoping, this is the hope. Okay, we've got this decision. Now they're really going to start ripping. Well, they're having a good morning, but this doesn't even look like this isn't a great morning. They're having an okay morning. I mean, they're getting their losses back from 2 days ago. When you really put it in perspective, because these things have been hit so hard. I mean, Afria isn't even getting its losses back from 2 days ago. ACB isn't even getting its losses back from 2 days ago. So, here it's huge news for the sector, and the things are up 2-3%. Okay, yeah, that's a good thing, but are they going to keep ripping and go up 5-10% on this? I don't think so. My opinion.
Quick question on MBEV, the news yesterday. I mean, it had a nice pop yesterday, but it stalled and just in the area of a high that you had before. So I'm not looking for any major upside. 346 was your high on September 12th. Yesterday, you got to 339. So let's just call it 350. Major resistance here. Up a nickel on this news here.
The news being that they got permission to expand in Japan.
Yeah. So still until this thing gets over 350, the trend is down.
That was another selling opportunity on a stock that's been in a serious downtrend for a while. I mean, there was a lot of hope. The thing went obviously from $2 to $9 back in 2018 when pot was hot. Really, this whole entire year has just been in a downtrend, and it's just continued to leak. It's almost given back its entire gain that it had from that big pop. I mean, it obviously came from $2. It's still $3, so still has a buck to go. But I think it eventually goes back to that $2. I think I was late. I think I said a year ago when it got up to 9, I said eventually 1 year from now, it'll be back to 2. Well, it looks like I'm going to be wrong because it's only going to be back to 3.
Okay.
So anyways, these pops on, these ridiculous moves on some of these are selling opportunities. So yesterday, think about how many people are in this trade hoping this is going to be the turnaround, hoping, maybe we got some, positive news it's going to start turning around. And then yesterday, can't even hold its gains for a day. I mean, it gets up there to 339. Now it's trading at 315. Got down to under $3 there. Yesterday, I'm looking from the gains from the day before. I mean, these things just have so much overhead supply. That's the problem with stocks and downtrends. It's overhead supply. People who are caught, people who are hoping to get their money back because investors do not like to sell at a loss. So these stocks that are all in downtrends continue to remain in downtrends because every time they pop up a little bit, you got the person from yesterday saying, thank you for giving my money back. Pops up a little more, you got the person from last week saying, thank you for giving my money back. Has a really good pop, person from last month says, thank you for giving me my money back. That's a nice thing about when stocks are making new all-time highs. There's nobody saying, thank you for giving me my money back. Everybody's up in it. So there's no pain. There's no overhead supply. There's no pain. That's why it's so much easier for a stock to go up when it's at an all-time high as opposed to a stock that's at an all-time low or near the lows to go up. It's just the path of least resistance continues to follow trend.
Well, how about a stock that did reverse yesterday, maybe? Shopify. I mean,
take a look. You know what? A lot of these did yesterday. And Shopify, this is the one I'd be interested in on pullbacks. Now, it was such a big run. Do you get, a headline, maybe a China or a Trump tweet or something gives you a shot? But that does look like a reversal to me. Roku 2, the washout right below $100 2 days ago, down to 98. I mean, these are still story stocks. The story can remain intact for a while here. So despite my long-term thesis on Roku not being positive, this has sold off 70 points in a matter of a week and a half. And full disclosure, well, actually, full disclosure, just overnight, I had a short on Roku, which isn't working out well. So I'll be covering that, though. So I'm talking completely against my buck here, but it's in a bounce mode right now. So, you know, it was really ridiculously overdone in the short term, and it's giving a little bit of life. Shopify, too. These two stocks, you know, obviously nothing to do with each other, but tend to trade together. That's how I did my Roku short originally, was Shopify started to break down. I thought Roku would follow suit, and it did. Shopify, pretty good day yesterday. Roku looking a little bit, has a little bit more life.
Hey, Dennis, what about, did you look at the tobacco stocks yesterday? They called off the merger, and I think Philip Morris.
That was ridiculous. I saw it, and it went up to like 77 in the pre-market, or almost $78. Just an absolutely ridiculous rally. And not surprised that it's given half of it back here in one day. I think he eventually fills that gap. Don't like Philip Morris, not even with your money, Joel.
Okay, all right, 837. S&Ps are hanging in there. We're still up 5 1/4. Pre-market high 95 is looking like a good number as we are starting to peel back from it. Boy, oh boy, we're talking beyond me. Do we have to go to the doc here, Spencer?
There's a lot of ratings.
Yeah.
We had some earnings too. Don't forget about that. We had
go KB Homes, because I traded this one last night.
Okay. So KBH yesterday after the close, Q3 EPS 73 cents versus 66 cents. Sales 1.16 versus 1.17 billion. So a slight sales miss to go with the EPS beat in the third quarter. Net orders up 24% on the year-over-year basis, and backlog units up 14% year-over-year.
Can I guess what you did, Dennis? Without speaking to you at all, can I guess?
Go ahead.
You bought the dip.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I hedged it with a couple other home builders, and the hedge is funky because you really got to go heavy on the other home builders. But I was like, this is a stock in a serious uptrend. This earnings report was not that bad. I actually thought it was okay, and I thought it might turn around. So I bought at 30, I want to say 30.54. What was the low? I was dang close to it. Really close to the low of the move last night.
30.30. No.
Yes, I got it. It hung out there. Like, it looks like but it spiked down there a couple of times. It gave you a couple chances in the lower 30.50s. And I decided, and I had some hedges. I shorted some Len against it and a couple other, and obviously you have to be a lot bigger. So it was a funky hedge. But anyways, I've still got it on. I'm going to work out of it at the open, meaning I'm going to cover my Len and sell my KB Homes here at the open. But I mean, this is just classic, looking at a stock that's in a nice uptrend, stock that has a lot of things working for it, and I thought the sell-off was ridiculous.
And what was your process time on that? Did you have it? Did you have a plan beforehand that you wanted to buy the dip on it?
Yeah, I did. I thought about it because there's not a lot of earnings right now, so you can really focus on them and think about them. So I'm like, this is one that I would buy the dip on. This actually started dipping before the report, which is funny. It actually, I was like, it dipped down like over $1. And I was like, did they report? And I was like, it's not on the newswire. And then about a minute later, it reported. So I don't know if somebody got an early report on this or not. I'm not sure exactly what happened. What just happened here in the market?
Dennis, you're starting to be like me here. We've sold off like 3 points. We're 7 points off the high. Brentster, we got anything here?
Okay, so they released it. So that's not news. They released the whistleblower complaint. They said they were going to yesterday, and that's now public information. So maybe they're reading it.
Are you talking about the impeachment?
Yeah. So it's public information now. It's out there. I'm sure people are reading it. Don't know what it says. Obviously, haven't read it yet, but that's out there now.
I'll tell you right now, when the news came out yesterday, and Spencer, Dennis, you weren't on the show yesterday. Spencer made a great call. I don't know if it made it in the PMP recap article, but yeah, you did.
What was my call?
Your call of the year. You said that this impeachment thing was just another buy the dip opportunity.
Oh, I did say that.
You did. You did. That's what he did.
I mean, this has been the theme here. It's just been so many. It's hard to just come in this market with your bear hat on because it seems like the buy the dippers just do not go away. I mean, this has been the theme for years. I mean, yes, we haven't really gone nowhere in the last year and a half. It's been kind of, a chop up market a bit, but overall, still the buy the dippers lurk, especially in stocks that are in uptrends. And that's why I did the KB Homes last night. That was really the only reason, was because stocks in a nice uptrend. The environment, I don't think, can be better for home builders. I mean, we got interest rates are talking about negative rates, for crying out loud. How can it get better for home builders? So I just figured there's going to be other people that are interested in getting in the stock. and it worked out. You know, and obviously it's working out. I've sold half. I'm still in the other half of the trade. But you know, it's a nice pop. I mean, I bought a 30.54 last night. I think it's 32.98. So you're talking about a 7-8% move off the lows. It's a nice little trade overnight.
The open, because you know what these home builders like to do.
Yeah, I'll probably sell it at the open. I mean, if it gets up, it's getting to a point where now it's starting to get up on it, and it's, you know, now it's getting to a point where it's probably, you know, time to maybe lighten.
Any size at 33? Can you see that? In KBH?
There, I just sold it. I'm out. I'm out of KBH.
I didn't want you to. I didn't.
You wanted me out. I'm out. I mean, it's got out here. Well, the market's leaking too, so we'll get out. Maybe that's a bad call, but I mean, it was a good trade. I mean, I made $2.50 almost on that.
I said, any size at 33. He didn't even look. He just goes, boom.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, you might be size at 33. It's a good point, Joel. I don't usually trade live on the show there, but I'm out of it. So I bought that last night, and it was a nice trade for me, and I'm out here now. So it's sitting
even
up
though
here.
you're
32.90 is an iceberg. You can hit that. It looks like I just hit it and not moving. So looks like
all right. Other earnings reports. What about CCL? Are they
No,
out
I
yet?
don't think it's out yet. We've got Pier 1. We got
it's down
Rite
though,
Aid.
big time. It's
Yeah.
not out yet.
I looked for the release and I didn't.
I'm going to look too. Otherwise, these people are just nervous ahead of the report. Are these nervous Nellies, or are these people who actually have the headline?
Carnival, remember, has the two symbols.
I don't see it either.
Yeah.
Is this just nervous Nellies ahead of the report?
What's the other symbol in Carnival?
Oh.
So no, it's CCL. Oh, you know what? It's different. And there's also CUK, but that's different.
CUK.
Carnival ADR. Does that trade with it?
I
Am I
believe
learning something here today? You're
Yeah.
right, Spencer.
I believe-
Look at the charts.
Look at you.
I mean, yeah.
I didn't know that.
One is a sponsored ADR, and one is like the common.
Not the greatest symbol. I want to take that.
Wow, you just taught me. I didn't even realize that. Look at this. I get all these ideas from you. Now I have a new ARB to play. That's been out there for a long time too. You know what? I knew CUK. I never really. That's funny. I don't trade Carnival a lot. But yeah, you're right. Spencer Israel giving us ideas on pre-market prep.
Glad I could.
HFTs dominate that stuff though. The ones that are like interlisted. I used to make a lot of money trading those things, and I mean they're all over them now. It's hard. The ones with dual listings, like Goog versus Google, you can't make money on that. Those things have just the ARBs are all over it. Even pre-market after hours, they're all over it. So just like, you know, DISCA, DISCK, or VIA, VIB is different because the ones got so much voting rights, they haven't really never traded that well together. But I mean, these things, this is something I did 10, 15 years ago. I don't really trade the dual listed stocks against each other anymore because there's no opportunity. The HFTs have taken it all away.
Wait, Dennis, I have an ARB play. I told Joel this yesterday before the show. My ARB play is Google and Golden Ocean Group, right? It's GOGL and GOOGL, just because I think people type it in wrong. Is that a thing?
What is it?
GOGL.
GOGL.
And GOOG.
Google?
Yeah, Google and Google.
Just trying to grab the wrong. No, I don't think it's a thing, but it's interesting. Joel might do that. Type in the wrong BBY and BBBY. Joel trades out all the time. The wrong stock. Too many B's.
Yeah, you just get that stuck on there. They had some guidance yesterday. I'm not sure how the stock. It was kind of muted. It was good guidance. I know it was. Ooh, look at this wall in BBY. Did it hit it yesterday? Look at this. If you guys want a number here to lean on, this just costs. There must be $1 trillion to sell at 70, Dennis. You probably can't see that far, but man, it's tried to rally.
What stock you looking at now?
BBY. Look at the $70.
I don't have my book open.
Okay, forget it.
JV Spec might have it.
It's $3 away. I'm just thinking wow, what a trading range here. This is one to keep an eye on, folks. You've been in a trading range basically between 66.50 and 70 here for a little over 2 weeks. So major consolidations. Consolidation periods can be good as, you know, big breakouts or breakdowns. Let's just see which way BBY wants to go. I mean, it's weekly, it's daily support, it's monthly support. So keep an eye on that. Big support here. Nice trading range in BBY.
Let's go to Rite Aid next. They were this morning. They beat on their Q2 EPS, missed on their sales by a little bit. The EPS beat 12 cents for 7 cents. The sales missed 5.36 versus $5.41 billion. They also narrowed their full year adjusted EPS guidance, and the sales guidance was reaffirmed.
Which stock?
Rite Aid.
I don't have anything to say about Rite Aid. I know they did the reverse split, and it's got a little bit of life all of a sudden, but this stock is a dog.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit of a pop here, up 74 cents. I mean, you had that big red bar the other day, and the high of that big red bar was 916. So you got a long ways to go even to get to resistance. You are opening into a little bit. I'd say a hold 837. Maybe you got a shot to get over 9. If you don't hold 837, look for a fade here. And Dennis, have you looked at Pure One Imports lately?
Didn't they reverse split that thing too?
Yep.
Yeah, look what it did. They jammed
Holy
it up.
ridiculousness.
Stupid. I know. I just thought I'd
Anyways, wow. Wait, that chart isn't adjusted though for the split. My chart.
Yeah. Mine is it 12?
Yeah, TradeStation auto adjusts for the
Okay, so show me a long term because my chart is still showing like it's had like a 1,000% move. That's not the case. It did have a good move off the low though. You're right. Okay, so it did have a.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look long term with the reverse splits thing, and I mean, yeah, these things reverse split. Sometimes they get some short squeezes and some life, but overall, these things are just more opportunities when these things rally. It's just to sell, and that's been the case here too. And now it's down 18% here this morning. I don't think the wicker chair company's turning it around.
We're getting a question here about Peloton. I mean, we don't.
The offering's coming out. When is it coming listed today?
I think today is a day. Yeah.
What, $27?
Yeah, PTON, $29. I'm sorry. Yeah, 29 is the IPO price. That's the top of their target range. So I think today is the day. They priced it they usually price it the night before. So they priced it last night. Today it's going to open.
Bicycle company.
40 million shares. Well, sort of. 40 million shares at $29 a share.
Stationary bicycle company.
With music.
It's a little bit.
They added music to it, and they got
a little bit more than that. It's a little more.
Wherever this opens, not for me. I'll tell you that. And sure, I mean, Beyond Meat rallied, and these things can do some crazy stuff off the opens, but this isn't going to be one that I'm going to be jumping in. I mean, I haven't analyzed it from a fundamental basis, but this doesn't sound to me like this. This sounds to me like a GoPro. Like a one-trick pony type of IPO with, they got some cool product.
Well, they have subscription revenue. They have subscription revenue. You pay.
Yeah, but it's like $3,000 for a bike, isn't it? Or $4,000?
Yeah, so, it's like $2,000 to $3,000. Yeah, but
why are their bikes so much better?
Because it's a bike with an exercise class, right? Because it has a TV and they have content, right? Classes and stuff. So if you are someone who does fitness classes and you don't actually want to go to the class, like a spin class or whatever. I saw the guys on Squawk on the Street on a spin class this morning. You don't have to go. You can do it from your house on this bike.
I'm long-term bearish PTON. Wherever it opens today, 1 year from now, it's going to be down 50% from there.
We got
all right. Bottom line is either you.
We got to start writing these down. These
the 1 year thing. Yeah. We got to start.
You either believe in the business model.
I don't believe.
Well, listen to me. You either believe in the business model of paying for the bike and then subscription revenue thereafter, or you think it's just another fitness fad. It's really one or the other. That's the bull case and the bear case.
I'm a non-believer.
Okay.
Call me a non-believer. Not buying Peloton. Not for me.
All right.
Next.
Fair enough. Well, what about Endeavor? They're also IPOing. But
what's symbol gonna be on that?
ENDV.
EDR, and it's gonna be and they've got some messed up financials. They got a lot of debt.
What's this company all about?
They're Endeavor Group. They own like IMG, like the sports like agency, right? And the talent agency, right? So they represent all these celebrities and.
Well, that's more interesting.
But they got so much debt though. So EDR, I don't know when the IPO date there is, but it's not a startup, and they've got a lot of debt. That's why they're IPOing. So we'll see what happens there. EDR and PTON. That's our IPO talk for the day. We do have some analyst ratings. They are active the past few days.
Some good ones.
A couple weeks, some good ones here. Let's see, Dennis. Do you have any favorites this morning? Because there are a lot.
Square. Come along it.
That was a
upgrade at Wells Fargo,
right?
Or initiation at a buy.
Yeah, it was initiated at Wells Fargo. No, it wasn't. It was
upgrade.
It was upgraded at Wells Fargo to outperform, and they gave an $80 price target.
I mean, I'm in this. Was it the washout low there yesterday? Maybe. I'm still kind of right where I bought it. I'm in from like the 60, 61 area. I've been down in it multiple times. I was up in it for a little bit, and then I've been down in it obviously the last week and a half. It's in my long-term retirement account I'm holding on to because I still believe in the story.
Yeah, it's faded off these moves a few times. I think just from a like psychological standpoint, let's close over $60. You haven't closed over $60 since September 10th at 60.55. You really haven't spent much time in the 60 handle. A couple highs at 60, 3 highs in a row there. To me, it's just like a stock that's in a trend like this. It's, it's pulled off its highs. It's trying. It's been getting a lot of street love lately, hasn't it? Like they've been doing everything they can.
A lot, and that is a concern. It's a good point you're making. Lots of upgrades here, but it still can't seem to get going. So, if that's the story, it's probably another selling opportunity. I mean, here is a stock that is in a clear downtrend right now. So as a trade, talking against my long-term book here, it's probably more of a selling opportunity because there's lots of overhead supply here. I just think the valuation isn't ridiculous. I believe in Dorsey, and I believe in the long-term story. So that's why it's in my retirement account. I don't think I would want it on for a trade here. I don't think I'd be buying it for a trade right now, just because of what you just said, Joel. We've had 3-4 positive analyst commentaries here, and it still can't seem to get life. So not sure that long-term selling is all done here yet. I like the long-term story.
Just in September, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 upgrades, and another 3 analysts have come out and maintain their buy ratings. So they're trying to defend it. We'll see if it works.
Anyway, so those are my thoughts. So what other ratings you got?
We have AbbVie catching an upgrade this morning from Citigroup to buy ABBV.
Yeah. I have that in my long-term portfolio too. Like I said, I got lots in the retirement account. I got almost 100 stocks. So a lot of times we overlap with my long-term portfolio. No trade on it though. It's come back. I mean, this is a stock.
Got pounded off that.
Yeah. You think it's 75 areas starting to look resistive here. So you're getting upgrades and obviously I've talked about drug pricing here in the next year. I think as we get into, political season, the coming election next year, I think drug pricing is going to be a hot topic, and that's not the best news. So I just think drugs might underperform in this next year. So I'm not really adding in any drugs to my long-term portfolio, not right now.
What's the there was a big oil merger and they absolutely killed the acquirer. They bought this is going back 2 or 3. I should remember this. It was a big oil deal.
Buffett Oxy.
Oh yeah, is that recovered yet?
No. I mean, oils went in the gutter too, but Oxy they murdered. I mean, Oxy was when this merger was announced. Oxy I think was $70. Now it's $45. So obviously they weren't a fan of it. The deal did go through. We're talking about Occidental Petroleum and Anadarko. And APC is off the board now. So it's done. The merger's done. Chevron was fighting for it. I think Chevron was the one that benefited by not getting it because Chevron still held up. Oxy's just been killed. Yeah, but they don't like companies paying premiums, not in this market.
Nope, not at all. 855. SP's a little dip there. I think it was on old news. I think that was out before. So we're back above 29.90, up 4 points at 29.90 and a quarter.
Whirlpool upgraded JP Morgan this morning to overweight. They're raising their price target from 155 to 172 on WHR.
Not getting life. This actually had some love from Jim Cramer last night too. He was pumping it. So he got ahead of this analyst report, which is good for him. And obviously the stock trading up $4 here on that. So it was going to be up. It was up last night just with Cramer. Mad Money really gave it a pump. And now you get that coupled with an upgrade. So it's not surprising Whirlpool. And I mean, look at Whirlpool. This is really, come back a long ways too, since it's October of last year lows when the stock went from 200 to basically 100. It's come back a long ways. So it's been a good performer.
Where is that company based?
We got to be Michigan.
It is, oh gosh, I know this. It's somewhere out on the west side of the state. It's not Grand Rapids. Is it Grand Rapids?
Nope, farther west.
Lake Michigan?
It's not in the
How do you get further west than Lake Michigan?
It's on Lake Michigan.
I don't know.
Benton Harbor.
Benton Harbor. Oh, okay, I was close.
All right. This one's getting a nice pop. This is a thin one, isn't it, Dennis? Up 444 at 154.80, getting the double love. Pre-market high 155.49, so that's 70 cents away. So I just use that as a target. You had been clearing out some resistance at 153, so I think it stays in rally mode as long as it stays above 153. If you're going to the monthlies and you're a longer term trader, then you're going to hold out for 156.51. That's not too far away. That was your July 2018 high, and that was backed by 156.75. So, 157, another target today for Whirlpool if it can hold on to these early gains.
So what about some downgrades? My favorite this morning is Morgan Stanley downgrading NEO to equal weight. Thanks, Morgan Stanley downgrading NEO to equal weight. Price target $2.40. They had it at overweight. I wonder what gave it away. I wonder
Story over. Stock broke in. Company broke in.
Thanks for this.
I think 1 year from now it's under $1.
Know who this analyst is, but thanks a lot. They had an upgrade all this time. Maybe what gave it away was the canceled earnings call. Maybe that gave it away.
Oh, the whole canceled earnings.
I'm not sure what gave it away here, but that's fun. What else do we have as far as downgrades?
Dennis, were you on the show when we talked about this one?
No, he missed
it. 60 Minutes top. This was on 60 Minutes in January.
So I know Dennis is taking a couple of days off. Do you know that they had their earnings and they canceled the call?
No, I didn't know that either.
Oh, the numbers were so bad they canceled their earnings call. This was on Tuesday.
Well, they had to get rid of their phone. They can't afford a phone.
Right, they sold it.
All right, the story's broken. Bottom line. Next.
A couple of downgrades from HD Supply. That's predictable. They're splitting the company up. Not too much else in the way of downgrades this morning. A couple other upgrades that caught my eye. The trade desk up at Nomura to neutral. Boston Beer Company up at BMO Capital to outperform. And
that's going to be up. It's a bit up $8 right now. So Sam's going to get some life here this morning.
That's a thin one.
Real thin.
Before we got a minute here to go, I just want to go a little bit macro here with you, Dennis. So we have the end of the quarter on Monday, right? It's also a Jewish holiday, which is normally a slower day. And really, the market's gone nowhere for like 2 or 3 weeks here. So how do you think? You think that, going in, you think there's going to be any window dressing? You think things are just going to stay tight here? I mean, we do see some good moves at the end of the quarter. It's weird. The Jewish holidays are late this year. It's after the expiration. I don't know. Just kind of weird. So
the end of the quarter is Monday?
Yeah. End of the quarter is Monday.
I mean, typically they're strong.
Okay.
Usually, at least lately, I feel like they've been strong. You got a lot of this market's very hard to call day to day. It's headline driven. We obviously have a lot of wild cards. Now impeachment talk. Obviously, Trump's still talking a potential China deal, which could be talk for the next year. I mean, there's so many wild cards floating around out here. Interest rates, the macro environment. I mean, it's difficult to call where this market's going to be 10 minutes from now as opposed to 10 days from now or 10 years from now. It's hard. So I think it's still a little bit of a fade trade, longer term or short term, meaning when you get rips in the stocks, it seems to be opportunities to sell. When you get dips in stocks, there do seem to be opportunities to buy. So the contrarian has made a lot of money in the last year and a half because we've really just been chopped up and gone nowhere. And I think that continues. So that's at least how I'm going to be playing it, is just in how I continue to play it is, you get the moves and there's just not a lot of follow through and a lot of moves. So like I said, buying dips on stocks and uptrends, selling rips on stocks and uptrends seem to be the play as opposed to buying the rip and the stock just continues to go higher. So I still think the fade trade is out there.
All right, Dennis, you did great, man. You did great.
Alive. The shoulder is, it's better than it was yesterday. So we'll keep working on it. We'll get rid of this pinched nerve here and then I'll be back to normal. So it makes it a little hard to click.
All right. If
I'm clicking.
Missed any part of today's show or you want to hear us again, catch our podcast or rewatch our show on youtube.com/Benzinga TV. Thanks to our guest today, Tim Melvin. Thanks to all of you in our chats, both on YouTube and premarket.benzinga.com. Please remember, all the information from our show is meant to be used as informational purposes only and not for investing or trading advice. Any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, whatever, email us, premarket@benzinga.com. Everyone have a great rest of your day. We'll be back with you on Friday.